That's stupid ass hot.
Fucking these girls of ours are lucky.
Huh?
These girls of ours are lucky. They don't know what they got, dude.
I tell my wife all the time, bro. You know what I mean?
They don't know what they got.
All right, man. We're coming live to you here at the legendary Roadhouse in Cave Creek. Dominic and I are here just chopping it up. And I'm pretty stoked to have Dominic on the show. Have you ever done a podcast before?
First one.
Cracking that cherry.
Popping it.
Popping it. But there's a few things. First of all, I love doing podcasts. Second, I wanted to get to know Dominic more. And then also, I just love the man that he is and that he's becoming. So what I would always start off with is like, where are you from and what do you do?
So I'm from here in Arizona, Queen Creek, a little town about an hour out of Phoenix, and I build motorcycles.
Wait, you're from Creek? That's where you lived?
Yeah.
Your whole time? When it was like nothing out there?
Yeah, pretty much. Like my parents were split up, so my dad was in Gilbert, my mom was in Queen Creek, so I spent half the week at either house. But
right.
Queen Creek's where I went to school and had all my friends and shit.
Yeah, and that's where you live right now too, right?
Yep.
Take these glasses off. That's where you live right now, huh?
Yep, still there.
Still there. Yeah, dude.
It's wild. So I did a lot of traveling for work because I used to be a lineman before this, and I always thought about bouncing out of town like everybody. And I used to wrestle in high school, so I traveled the country for that. Every job I had, I traveled the country, and I just loved Arizona. I even tried moving to Cali for like a year.
Really?
Moved back.
Yeah.
Just love it here.
People do that, right? Isn't it funny? Like you're just accustomed to stuff. Like that's why me moving out of California was like such a kind of huge thing, and it took a while to adjust from time zone difference.
Right.
Like that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's 9 o'clock there, or where I was at, and it's 6 o'clock at home, and I was just like, what a struggle. But
when you try and call your family and friends, and you got to remember the time zone because they know they're already in bed or something.
Yeah. And most of the time, it's already on my ass. You know what I mean? I adjusted pretty goddamn quick to being fucking real tired. You know?
Yeah.
So Queen Creek. Hey, what's up?
Wow, look at these early birds.
It's the way.
We're over here on the podcast, bro. Don't think for a second you're not coming on too. Huh?
Next.
We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, so what made you get into motorcycles then? Because you were talking about wrestling, and or have you always done
Dude,
motorcycles?
it's always been there. So my dad had a bike. I grew up around it and shit. Him and my mom split, so my dad's half of the week, ended up being on the weekends. And he wasn't going to give up riding his bike and hanging out with his friends for a second.
Right.
So he'd throw me out. Dude, I was probably fucking 6 years old and up. He'd throw me on the back of his bike. We'd come up to Cave Creek, hang out at the Hells Angels bar they used to have up here. Just grew up on the back of his bike.
Right.
He took me around hustling pool with him and chicks. My mom had a pool table at her house, so I was pretty good as a kid.
Really?
And he had me just hustling all these old grown-ups
That's
at pool. But we did that. Then the biker build-off days, remember Discovery Channel shit came around. And that was just our thing. We'd watch it, and he would draw like a frame with a tin set and, circle wheels on there. And I would draw my different wheel patterns, paint jobs, all this shit. And I just had a love for it. I was always there. I got into like motocross and shit, growing up a little bit. And then just started fucking off like we all do at the early young age. And just doing the whole party experiment scene. And then when I got a little older, got some adult money, finally got a bike, loved it, and just embraced the scene. And then after a while, I just started, a shop couldn't get my bike in time, so I had to start working on my own shit. And I was always mechanically inclined, but it just started from that, like having to work on my own stuff because the shop was booked out a month, or they were too expensive, or there was no shop around when I was traveling around for work. So I just started me kind of self-teaching myself.
Yeah.
And then, it took off.
It's funny, a couple of things that I just got out of that. One, like when you have the capability and skills to work on your own shit, like you're gonna always save money. You know what I mean? It's all you're gonna literally save money.
Right.
And nowadays it's like people have fucking YouTube. And I mean, as you can see, I'm really unprofessional. We just get it done.
Unreal.
But what I was going back to is like, you brought up the family, history of like the split up, the going back and forth, and like that's a hard thing being a parent, because that was the one thing for myself. It was like, I don't want to do that to my kids, you know?
Right.
And I've already done that. Like I have a daughter that's 22 that I just lost in my addiction. So like having stability with my family now, and although like there's times where I like want to divorce my wife right now and just be like, I'm done with this shit because I'm so selfish and like
Right.
self-centered, like to where it's like I want shit my way.
Yeah.
But like for you to grow up that way too, and then like to have the family that you have, you ever think about that, you know?
I do. So they split when I was like 3, so it was kind of all I knew. It was just normal. So I just had different aspects of life. Like going to my dad's, he owned restaurants, so he was always working. So I was like video games, hang out inside and stuff as a kid. You know, fuck off, not much supervision. Then at my mom's, it was more like camping and the normal childhood shit.
Okay.
But definitely growing up and having kids changes you, you know, so much.
Karen's birthday. Can you sign it, please?
Oh yeah.
Don't worry, can we just pause this podcast? This highly professional podcast that we're doing.
Oh my God.
It's okay, we can edit.
Whose birthday?
Karen.
Who the fuck's Karen?
The one that you were sitting next to last night. That'll be good for your podcast.
Oh, Thursday, Karen.
You heard it here first. First.
Oh my God, I didn't know you were doing a fucking podcast.
Happy birthday, Big K.
Big K.
Big K K
If
K.
you called me Big K, I'd fucking kick you in the shin. Thanks,
Well, I
dude.
don't get to fucking sign it?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I fucked up. How rude of me. Sorry, Karen.
What? Like, oh, I'm sorry. Let's do
Yeah. Said she was gonna pee on me last night.
Dirty I was gonna just say
Yeah.
dirty shit.
She's gonna Ray J my ass.
So, congrats, Dustin.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
no
Sorry.
problem. Yeah, no, cheers, man.
So, Mark's wife, yeah. Katie. So, you know, with kids, like once you have kids, that changes everything. And then you start almost, at least in my case, you start playing back your childhood and shit. And you want to give them better than you had. And not like I had it rough growing up, but you just want to give them everything you didn't have or you wanted.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's kind of, I forgot what the original question was, but that just kind of changed everything.
Totally. No, it's just about family dynamic, because you brought it up. And it just like, I think when people bring up stuff, not intentionally, but just like your story, like there's something that's there, because it's almost like, well, it is, it's I spot it because I got it, you know, like I know not that I had the worst childhood, but like there's some shitty times, you know,
Sure.
where, you know, it made me really the person that I am today. So playing that back, you know, and friggin' trying to do better is like super hard, because for some people it's just I don't know, for some people it's way easy, you know?
Yeah, and you don't want to like you said, you always get pissed off your wife. I'm sure they do more times than not with us.
Sure.
But you want to show your kid that like, oh, you just quit when shit gets rough, or
Yeah.
you want to show them that you stick through it and push through and create something, fix
Yeah.
things when they break.
Yeah, totally. And you said it, you nailed it too. Like, I'm definitely not a perfect person. Like, there's no way, you know, my wife has to put up with a lot, you know. And as a matter of fact, it's like she supports me doing all the things that I do for here, but she is so sick of it. She's like ready to have some stability and like, you know,
Right.
at home. And fortunately, she married me, so it's never, I mean, it has been like that. Like, I was a manager at Home Depot, and like, you know, but at the end of the day, I fucking hated it, you know. And I was making great money, but I just absolutely hated it. And just dealing with retail people was the worst part.
Well, and they don't see it too, because like, yeah, you might be bringing home good money and you're home every night, 9 to 5, all that shit, but how much it weighs on you, and then you're miserable. You start taking the shit home with you,
Yeah.
and that's not fair to your wife or kids. You know, you got to be happy at your own way to give them the happiness too.
Yeah, I think we finally got to a spot where we're like, okay, this is what I want, and this is what you want, and like we're just gonna make it happen.
Figure out how to make it work.
You know, but she's the type that's like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do, and this is what you're gonna make happen now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you can come up with $2,500 a month for rent or for mortgage or blah blah blah. So, you know, it's, you know, being a fucking marriage, you know.
Yeah, figure out how to make it work.
So when did you, like you said too, you started kind of fucking around, you know, at an early age, like, was it drugs or alcohol or just alcohol?
A bit of everything. So grew up wrestling. I was very successful. That
Yeah.
was a hard word. With that, had a full ride and shit. An injury put a stop to that. So, I smoked some weed with my older sister, little stuff like that. But kind of after the college thing was out the window, all my friends went to college. I didn't. I was just partying with them, and it was just the normal experiment shit. And then that just carried on, and it never. It was bad, but it was never. I was on the street sucking dick for crack by any means.
Yeah.
I afforded my own drugs at least,
Sure.
but it was definitely out of control. Just nothing good was going to come from it in the end, regardless whether I was making the money for it and still showing up to work every day. Nothing good ever comes from that shit. So
Right.
I had to kick back.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Like you say, you weren't sucking crack yet, but there's always that yet.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like the our addiction, it's like it runs wild, like to where nothing is promised, right? And you know that nothing is promised, and so like anything can happen, But I think it's really great. Like, I mean, we're kind of jumping ahead, but like your story right now is like really important, especially for the people that watch and listen to my show. It's like it's industry but recovery based, right? So you're coming up on 90 days right now, which is fucking amazing.
Thank
And
you.
you did it by yourself, and you didn't have to go to like a in-house program. You're doing everything outpatient, but you chose to like do something for yourself and your family, which is pretty rad because a lot of times we get clean for somebody else. And you said that to me right off the rip. It was like, I'm not doing it for her. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me.
yeah. So the story of that, I was hard. I was going hard for like in my early, probably 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
I was hitting it hard, and I always at that point I knew like this is getting serious, but I just had no reason to stop really, or told myself that. And then that's when me and my wife started dating and everything, and like boom, it was done. I had a distraction. I had something else to live for, so that was good. And then up until last year, I got sober for like a year, thinking like I said, it wasn't an issue. It was just a here and there thing, but it's like why at this point? So Taylor from the Roadhouse, he got sober. He said start coming to some meetings with me, so I did, and just got on the wagon for about a year. And after a while, I was like, oh, I could start drinking again here and there. And no crazy downfall, like no rock bottom, none of that shit.
Yeah.
Started drinking again, and here and there, wasn't making an ass on myself, wasn't getting hammered, wasn't doing anything dangerous, just normal drinking. But my business just, in a year off, just started scaling. And then after I went back to drinking for a little bit, I just thought about it, like, why? Why? Like, shit's going too good. Like, I don't need any other distractions. I take so much pride in my business. I care so much that it's like, if that's just one unnecessary distraction. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Cut it the fuck out. So then I got my shit together again, and that's it. Just full speed ahead.
Isn't it funny? Like, our addiction, like I said, it runs so wild to where it can control so much of it. But like, even though you didn't think you had a problem, the first time you picked up and then you start drinking again, but then just shit start going downhill fast,
Right.
I feel like for us addicts, man, because through and through you're an addict, if you can't, the only thing the difference between you and I is like you have that self-control to quit. Like I was forced into jails, institutions. And
Well, I
shit,
probably wasn't too far away from it.
right. But you made it though.
Right.
But the problem is with addiction is like if there's another chance, like you keep pushing that line. You know what I mean? To where it can get really fucking bad really quick, And plus like there's so much like of a like such a fantasy, and like you see people that are in this industry and like they're able to maintain and stuff,
Yeah.
but they don't also have the self-awareness like you do to where it's like this is not serving me a purpose,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and you're such a better human being when you're just like totally focused, and especially when it comes to business, you know what I mean? Like for myself, there's no fucking way that I'd be able to be where I'm at right now if I was still getting loaded.
No doubt, dude. And there's only so much time in a day, right? So if you're trying to be a good dad and all that shit, you're running your business. Much that takes away from your family already.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be a good dad and say you got 4 extra hours at the end of the day. You're going to use that getting fucking high?
Yeah.
Or spend more time with your kids or, focus on your business. Like, prioritize your time a lot better.
Right.
Like don't get me wrong, I've done a lot of badass networking, getting fucked up at the bars and rallies with dudes, and met a lot of cool people that way. But I can't say it was all that, just because of fucking alcohol and shit. So there has been a lot of relationships that's come from drinking. Not that it even came from drinking, just drinking was there,
The social aspect.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I'd rather prioritize my time better and be more beneficial with it.
How long have you been with your wife?
You fucker. We got married in 2016.
You guys been together, right? I saw a post the other day where it's like, damn near, it looked like you guys were.
So we went to high school together. I think we met freshman or sophomore year. She was a 2x4 and she had some stoner douchebag boyfriend. And playing hard to get. Then she came back, I think, sophomore, junior year, hit puberty, and she had a rack on her. And I was like, hell yeah, it's time. But she's still dating that douchebag, so I just always flirted with her and shit and fucked off. And then after high school, my best friend since like 6th grade was dating her best friend since like 2nd grade.
Wow.
And they started dating in high school, stayed together. And then so a couple years after high school, we ended up linking back up through the both of them. After a little bit of me playing hard to get, we started dating probably 20 years old. And then I think I got married at 23, and now I'm 32.
23. That's fucking rad.
But dude, I was fucking straight shooting at that point. Like I did my party phase and all that stuff. I was tattooing, piercing professionally out of a shop from high school till 23.
Yeah.
And then I got into I couldn't separate, the partying from shit. So I got into the trades, being an apprentice, journeyman lineman, and took off of that. So I was, making good money, had my shit straight. So it was fucking marriage, kids coming next.
Right.
It didn't take long.
Totally. Yeah, I was having a conversation with her the other day, and she was like, she suffered through that postpartum pretty bad, both pregnancies. And like, I'm like a big advocate for that now because my wife went through the same thing.
No one fucking tells you about it.
Nobody tells you about it. And honestly, it's like what I was saying to her, it's so hard for us men because we're men, provider, safety, and all of these things to where like we want to be a protector and we're completely powerless because they're going through this crazy mental state.
There's no solution.
Yeah, there's basically, it's like drugs for them, and then which makes them fucking just a zombie,
right.
Or you just deal with it, and they have to kind of work through it themselves. But like, what was your experience? Because obviously, I know mine with that.
So morning, buddy. Good. So our first kid, Veda, or my daughter. Luckily, her mom was in town. I probably stayed for a month or so when we had the kid. So I was doing my best, and then her mom kind of helped get her under wraps when she started getting it a little worse. And we just pushed through it. And it was hard for me. Because, as a man, you're not taught to deal with your emotions. You're like, suck it up, figure it out. So at a point, it's like you're almost passing that along, which it's not right.
Yeah,
so her mom helped with that and stuff. And, we were, I think 26 when we had the kids. We were still young and stuff. So her mom helped a lot, and then we just kind of pushed through it. The second kid, I think she was a little more prepared for it because I'm sure it was just as bad, but she at least expected it with the next one. So that helped a little bit. And then I took 2 months off work when the kid was born, when my boy Riot was born. So that helped, be there.
Yeah,
being there for
that's a huge help,
Yeah.
Because they're not, they have some support and help,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I quit Home Depot. I mean, literally, like, she had a great pregnancy with Wyatt. Winona came, and it was just like, from the time of pregnancy, like, there was so many issues that were going off. They were saying that she possibly she was a retard. She had a hole in her heart.
I don't think you can say that nowadays, dog. Fuck them.
Fuck
yourself.
Retard. But you know what I mean? And it's like, the doctors were just scaring the shit out of her. So she had all this.
So it's already
anxiety,
in her head.
Right? And then all of a sudden, just like the pre-postpartum started, and then she had rage and all of these things, man. Like, it was so scary because, like, she was just telling me, like, that, she wanted to die. She wanted to get high because she's an addict too, right?
Oh.
So, like, she just wanted to bounce and leave. And, like, it's the scariest part about it is she wants another kid. You know what I mean? And so she's always wanted 3 kids, and she reminds me this often, like, hey, when we first met, because when I first met her, I already have a daughter, right? I don't have any contact with, but I already have a kid out there, right?
Right.
And when I met my wife, I was 34. She's 11 years younger than I am, so she was like, hey, I want kids, and I want 3. She already knew that.
Yeah.
So either you're going to be with me or not, because if you don't want any kids, like,
There you
because at
go.
first I didn't, and she was like, hey, you're going to shit or get off the pot. Either you want to be with me, or we're going to have to split our separate ways, right? So
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm going to stick this one out, you know?
Good.
But yeah, watching them go through all that, man, it's like there should be some more. And I know that like social media now, I've seen a lot more, you know, women that go through that and kind of like advocates for it too. And like, there's certain things that you can do. And, you know, I feel like there's such a chemical imbalance, like when it comes to, first of all, women are just they have so many emotions. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Full of emotions. And us men are really like simple creatures.
Yeah.
Feed us, get us laid,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
be nice to us like every once in a while, and like we're good.
Yeah.
But mostly just give us what you have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and we're gonna be good.
Yeah.
You know,
That
it's all
takes
good.
care of all 3.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
It's all good. I'll
Yeah.
treat you so good. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now that you have, I mean, first of all, dude, congratulations on your success, because I look around this bar and I see your logos and your signage everywhere, and
Thank
it's
you.
like, to think about the history of this building for one, and you know, I mean, fuck, you have Trask up here, and there's probably so many other people that I don't see, but to have your company stapled here, and then now you just built this bike. Like, let's just talk about white privilege. You know what I mean? And then we'll get to your success that you have all this, you know, signage and shit here. And obviously that was due to your friendship with Taylor, right? But
So we probably got to start at my beginning friendship, like with the bar.
let's do
So
it.
let's backtrack. I'll brief over it,
Sure.
but I was that little stint. I tried living in Cali. I was in Pismo Beach, and there's one Harley store. I was staying in Paso Robles, which is about 45 minutes from Pismo.
Yeah.
That's where the only Harley store was, and that wasn't worth a fuck for a Harley store. They sold like Indians and Yamahas and shit, and there was no shop in town nonetheless. So I had to start learning how to work on my own bike when shit would break. So that started that. Said fuck Cali, came back to Arizona, and just kind of kept it rolling. And then the whole Relentless started as tax evasion. So I was trying to just go exempt on my work taxes. And I was like, what do I spend all my money on? Bike shit. So I bought a lift, this and that, made a post. And then it just started taking off in my garage. So I just kept it rolling. Then I finally was like, fuck, dude, fuck the taxes. I want to do this.
Yeah.
So I just scaled from my 2-car my garage to my 50-foot RV garage, kept scaling. You know, I got a 10-foot tent. And I was just coming up here all the time for the rallies anyway. I was hanging around some buddies that had a shop for bike weeks previous and everything. And I just started making a relationship with Taylor and Mark. And it was always like, know your face, don't know who you are thing.
Sure.
And then it just kind of grew from there. She kept bugging him, kept showing up, you know. And then somehow I asked him to get my 10-foot booth in for one of the events. And it was kind of like my trial period. And, you know, it takes years and years to get allowed into this, because this, you know, as far as the shops go, Trask, Yaffe, all those guys, it's kind of more the higher end stuff. You don't just swoop right in, especially to a bike week. And I got lucky that someone backed out, and my booth ended up being somewhat up front, not tucked in the back. And I just showed up, like, did my thing. I showed up early every day, opened my shit, held myself, you know, to a professional standard. And I think they liked that. And we just became better friends with Taylor and Mark, the owners of the Hideaway and the Roadhouse up here in Cave Creek, who put on Cave Creek Bike Week. So just more events kept showing up, scaling the business, so on and so on. And then we just made a good relationship through the years and everything. So that's fast forwarding through the business growing and being here, you know, ended up leaving my shop at the house, opened up a commercial brick and mortar storefront, bigger booth, the whole 9. Things kept growing. We were at Sturgis this past year in 2025, and they were nice enough to invite me to sit at their table for the Sturgis Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So I sat through that with them and everything. And Mark at that time was building a badass assault bike through Trask with Nick Trask. So Mark's dick was all hard because I don't think they just finished it for Sturgis. So Mark was all stoked he had a new bike. Taylor still had an old 70-something, 80-something Shovelhead. Great bike, just not as practical, something newer, modern shit. So Mark's like, fuck, dude, we gotta get you a new bike. Ride it stirs next year, all this shit. So the idea started popping. And there was another shop that built a cool bike that Taylor was looking at. And I told Taylor, I was like, dude, that's a great deal. You'd be stupid not to buy that bike. So on. But Taylor just had a vision in his head that he wanted to create, his own bike. So they came to me. They came down to the shop shortly after Sturgis. We got an idea plan. Taylor bought a bike from auction. And then we just started bouncing some stuff off each other. And we're like, this one's going to be over the top, and we had a deal worked out. And after a little bit of time, I was like, dude, we can't, if we're going this far, we're past the cusp. We can't half-ass it. This is more than just bars, risers, and a seat and a pipe. You got to be all in at this point, especially with the arrangement we had worked out and everything. So then it just took off. And Taylor was a trooper because we first started with a number. Then we're like, fuck it, we're going here. This number's double and tripling. And he didn't have it like that. So he's like, we'll figure it out. Yeah. So it just scaled. And in the beginning, it was more like, all right, we got this plan. And him and Mark were like, all right, we want to do this. And Mark's like, I want to do this. And I'm saying, I want to do this. So then we ended up, God bless him, I told Mark, I was like, hey, dog, you built your bikes. This is Taylor's turn. Yeah. Kick back. And he was cool with it. And they had the trust in me. And then same with Taylor. He had these ideas and I have my ideas. And when you're building something, you got these ideas. But as a dude who's done it, in advance, like, hey, that's not going to look how you think, this, that. And finally, we got to the point where I'm just like, hey, dude, you give me the colors. We'll talk about a few parts. Let me take the reins. If you don't like it, I'll buy it back from you then. And that's kind of how it took off.
That's a good move.
Dude, and they were cool enough and trusting enough. And they were trusting enough because I built my bike, but nothing to the caliber of Taylor's. So they trusted me to give full reins, without seeing a lineup of bikes like that already. And so then through the process, I just took it and I handled everything and sent him some pictures along the way. But then by the time we got down to like the paint and stuff, I kept him in the dark. And then we unveiled it here. And it was for our builder showcase, which is a local 3-day rally where all the builders, it's during the same time as Daytona. So it's where like the West Coast guys come to unveil their shit. Right. And we had it set up on a lift out here stage. It was a big ceremony type thing. And Taylor's ecstatic. And keep in mind, Taylor was fucked off partying hard for a while. He was pushing 2 years, just coming up on 2 years sober, I think, and his life has drastically grown since he's gotten sober. So this was like almost like his present to payoff present for fixing your life. Yeah. So it was great to see, not even including me building the bike or having anything to do with the bike. It was just cool to see your friend grow that much and get something that he deserves so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, the bike is great. I'm going to put it onto this video so people can see it too. All of from every single bolt on that bike is just complete beauty. That is seriously like
I appreciate it.
Bike.
I appreciate it.
Like the fucking old school flames, the bearing, everything, the chrome. I'm like chrome to the dome, dude. I'm fucking a chrome dude.
Well, we tried to do it. So the bikes I like to build, my bread and butter is the soft tail platform, the newer ones like the say Street Bob, but mainly the Lowrider S and ST platforms. I think they're great bikes. A lot of dudes talk shit on them, but I think they're the new modern Dynas, and they're rippers, and they're underrated for sure. And I like flashy shit. Sure. But I've always been like that. I like show stopping stuff, but I like to perform too. Coming from the motocross background and shit, I like to rip my fucking bikes. If you know anybody that's ridden with me, or tried to, and bomb through the canyon, the tail of dragon shit, I fucking rip them. Yeah. But so I like to build them where they're flashing shit, but they fucking operate. They're not just show bunnies where they roll off the trailer. I rode my Diablo bike to all over. I've done 1,200 mile days. We rode it to 2-bit moto show, put in the show one right after I got done scraping the fucking pegs on every corner on the way in. Really? So that was my goal with this bike. The most beautiful show bike, but make it a certified ripper and capable of doing it. Whether they do it is up to the customer, but make it able to handle everything you threw at it. So we did tall suspension, good brakes, nasty fucking motor, and then just made the rest pretty.
What is the motor?
The motor is a hand-built 129. So we split the case and everything. I got the stock crank, balanced, trued, welded, all that stuff. Put it back together with some motor witch top end kits, motor witch cylinders at a 129 displacement. We're at 11.5 or 11.75 compression with a Woods cam and just 68 millimeter throttle body intake, all that stuff. And we ended up getting don't quote me, but it was like 155 and 160 or 165 torque out of it.
Wow.
Out of a naturally aspirated 129. And we could have jumped it up, of course, to get some big dyno numbers like everybody on Instagram and shit. But this thing's intending on riding the Sturgis. So we did a nice modest cam, well-rounded cam, towards a ripper, but it's practical.
Yeah.
Not just those cams where you put a fucking high-ass horsepower number, but it's no fun to ride or not reliable.
It's like bulletproof.
Pretty
right?
much.
I mean,
pretty
where
much.
you can still, you have the performance side of it, but you can still get from here to Sturgis.
Yeah, and it's enjoyable to ride in town or in a parking lot. Some of those ones are so lopey that just trying to do a parking lot, you're fucking constantly jerking away from you.
Totally. It's not fucking fun.
No, but dude, I'll tell you that was the first bike for a customer I've had just full reins, almost unlimited budget, and it was cool. But it was like fostering a kid, dude. I didn't want to give that fucking thing away when I was done with it. Then I get back on my bike and it's like, man, fuck this thing. This ain't even cool no more, dog.
Yeah, you said the funniest thing the other day. You're like, you would really like put your bike, your Diablo into the trailer, make sure it's good, and everything's perfect. And now you have white privilege, and now you're doing that, and then you see your bike, and you're just like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, the day after we unveiled it, I was bringing my bike back, and normally I check it 8 times.
Yeah.
This time I threw it in, I'm like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
If it falls, fuck it.
Fuck it,
Whatever. It's like old girlfriend now, Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's time for you to build something like that for yourself too,
I'm hoping if the stars align. So I had a 24 bagger so I was trying to have one of each bike to showcase for my booth and with me,
Yeah.
And then we went to a Rocky Point rally on the bagger, the wife and I and some friends cruising everybody. So I put a chunk of miles on that and I had it set up, getting decent. And then after we got back, I did 1,000-something miles on that bike that weekend, and we got back and I jumped back on my red bike, my Diablo.
Yeah.
I was just smiling, dude. Like mid controls, everything. Like I tried, but I'm not a bagger daddy, dude. Can't do it. I love the mid control softail setup. Love being able to ride a bike exactly how I want it. So I sold the bagger to a buddy in Texas. Snatched up another lowrider S stock. So the goal is for maybe Daytona next year. I'm going to build that one up, equal to Taylor's bike, but completely different.
Yeah, I think if, like you said it earlier on the show, it's like you're into STs, right? Like have that be like your stamp. You know what I mean? Obviously, you'll do whatever anybody wants.
Of course, that's kind of what I'm trying to shoot for now, because there's so many guys doing the baggers and they're killing it. And not that I can do it. I'll do whatever the customer wants, but nobody's really trying to capitalize and jump on the softail market yet. So Thursday here for Bike Week, we're doing our performance softail show, and I'm just trying to capitalize on that and show how capable these bikes really are, and what you can do with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to get this show out before. I'm going to get this edited up, and we're going to get this show cranking out this weekend, and that way people can watch it if they're here in Cave Creek or Arizona. We can come through with their ST and showcase that,
Yeah, so Thursday, that would be the 9th. What are we in, March?
Yep.
March 9th. Here at the Cape Creek Roadhouse, we're doing the performance softail show.
No, we're in April.
Sure as fuck are.
But I was green. I was like,
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So it's acceptance only show. So we try and do an elite shit. It's not just strolling anything. Your bike has to be accepted.
Cool.
They are
better.
Even
better.
I like it like that because it makes it elite almost. Especially with the platform we have. If you guys can't see, we got a big ass stage here. Ink Magazine set up this huge setup. So you don't want just anybody rolling in, especially when you build a bike to a high caliber. And we've done plenty of bike shows, and some dude with a shitty bike with flashy paint wins and this and that. And that's what we don't do. So we judge our shows strategically, and there's Kraus, OG Moto, Bamco, Lindahl. Everybody's done big ass gift cards. We already got badass fucking trophies. So it's trying to just set up like an elite club, like how you do your fucking slow race.
Yeah.
It's elite. Everybody looks forward to it. I want my bike shows to be like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, because everybody can do what we do, you know what I mean? And they do it. But that's the thing. It's like when you have something like an elite thing or something that is professionally done, people want to be a part of that no matter what. And it's going to make that person that has a soft tail going like, I need to work better.
It's motivating.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Absolutely.
If
it's not, then you're in the wrong business. You know what I mean? Like take that shit to some other bike show and go win a fucking sprocket.
No doubt. Well, I wanted to showcase too, because performance softail could be misconstrued, and the whole performance word don't even get me started on that shit. But you know, I want some grandpa with his 88 Heritage with a 100 cubic inch top end kit strolling in, whether that's a performance motor. So we're setting up for the shit we like, club style performance. There's so many names you could call it, but you know what it is if you got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know the fucking deal, baby.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So first of all, let's plug your shop. Where's your shop at? And can people, you know, just pull up? What's the hours? You know what I mean?
So our shop's in Gilbert, Arizona. If you're around here, it's off McQueen and Baseline. That's supposed to go black?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So our shop.
Too hot. That's all good. As long as the red dot.
You're hot, dog.
Yeah, maybe.
So our shop's in Gilbert, Arizona. If you're local, it's off McQueen and Baseline. We're open Monday through Friday, 12 to 6 is our normal public hours. Instagram, Relentless Cycles Official. Website is relentlesscycles.com. Shop number is 480-653-5412. It's a new number.
Good.
I hope that's right.
Yeah, that's all right. Just look it up, you guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
But so we pretty much focus on full builds, aftermarket parts, and service. So if you want, of course, we're doing full builds, top line, whatever you want. We had one we were doing for this. For Bike Week. We're hoping to get done next week. We're getting dicked around by the painter. I got a full FXR frame up build we're doing for Born Free. And after that, the books are open as far as builds. We're doing all your normal service stuff. And then I support people working on their own shit because that's how I got started.
Yeah.
Of course, don't try and be cheap and do it yourself at your house and call me 8 fucking times at 9 p.m. But if you're doing it the right way, you know, what we sell, we try and keep in stock, gaskets, seals, bearings, all that stuff. Anything extravagant, we could order or drop ship to your house. Specialty tools, we sell the specialty tools as well. So we try and support people doing their own shit because not everybody could afford to do it themselves, or some dudes are manly men like us who just want to fucking do it themselves.
Right.
So I support that. That's as of now. We're trying to gear the shop to go online sales. So we're set up for, we're just in the progress of implementing it. So drop ship for drag and everybody to get to the point where if you want to build a bike in your garage in New York, you can get every last thing on my website. You don't need to go to, because I've done it. You don't need to go to 8 different websites to get the shit. You get it all from my website. And then we're in the process of manufacturing parts. So we already got our own exclusive wheels we manufacture. And we're trying to get into foot pegs and everything. It's all in the works. So the goal is to go online, manufacture parts, and then I'll build, a handful of bikes a year and just travel the fuck around the country.
Yeah. So what's next, like, for traveling? Like, where would you like to go? What is your plan for the year?
Dude, I got fucked because I bounced around a lot last year just trying to get my name out there. I was gone a lot. And that shit's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're going to a show, you're not selling merch and shit. You're just going to set up, or even if you don't set up, you're just losing money. You ain't making a dime.
Right.
So I said for 2026, I want to stay local more and grind. That didn't happen. So we're at Bike Week now. We got lucky enough. I think my next one is in Utah for the 2-Bit Moto Show. We got lucky enough. Tony and the Tucker Speed Boys invited me to be invited builder to that show.
Love this place.
Great fucking dudes. They got such a good team.
Yeah.
When I went out there last year and met them, I was just like in awe. Like, that's what I want. I want a team like that.
Yeah.
Like, nobody looked like an asshole. Everybody was just fucking cool. They got a solid group of dudes.
Humble as fuck.
Yeah. So after the 2-Bit Moto Show, if I'm getting my dates right, we got Party at the Penn, Ohio, where I got lucky enough to be asked to be invited builder for that also. And then I believe that's in June. Straight from there, we're going to Born Free. We'll be at Born Free, California. And then Sturgis. And then I'm on the fence about doing the Smoky Mountain Tour rally again in Tennessee. Dude, that was dope. I will say, don't hate me if anybody you're from there. If I was going just to go for the rally, driving across country probably wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
But as a shop and networking and then the riding alone, you can't beat. Best riding I've ever fucking done. But being the shop and networking with friends and other shops and stuff was great. But if I was going just to go see a bike week, it probably wouldn't be driving cross country for.
Sure.
Yet, it's growing every year though.
Yeah.
So after that, I believe that one's the last one. Might do Rocky Point Rally. We're definitely going to do, let's Taylor do the West Coast Classic. Is that what it's called? Right? Probably do a couple of weekend ones here. They're bouncing around, but those are our big main ones for the year.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, so definitely West Coast Classic. Me and Jen, we put on that.
Oh, you
show
guys do it
last
together?
year. Yeah, 2 years.
My bad, dog.
No, it's all good. I just have to correct you. Everybody says
Yeah, I'll
that
go
shit.
fuck myself.
You know what I mean? Everybody's like thinking that, this dude started it. It's not the case.
No, it's just because the trophy is where I think that,
He does the bike show. I do. We collaborated on it. It's actually really cool to actually create something that's like really starting to get popular and people talk about it and they really want to win a trophy, and people ask that all the time. They're like, what's so special about Taylor's trophy?
Look at the motherfuckers.
And it's like, until you have one, then you'll understand, but it's like a staple, you know what I mean?
It is.
It really, in the way he does his judging too, like a lot of people say, like it's like, oh well, the homies just win and stuff. He has other people vote. He has no control over that. He'll do well, people's choice is obviously the people vote for, but he'll do like the best of the show or whatever.
Well, I think Taylor judges how I like to judge too, because keep in mind, you go into bike shows, there's a lot of dudes that get pissy when they don't win. You got to understand, you're going into a judge sport.
Right.
So say you got two equal bikes. If you like red, the red bike's winning, and you got to take it in the ass and know that you left it up to someone else's opinion. It's not football where you get a touchdown, you fucking win.
Sure.
And Taylor does that how I like to do it. Like, you go in, I judge how you're looking at the bike itself, the fabrication, the customization, not just slapped on parts, the motor, the shit that you actually got to fucking put work into. And then it goes down to, the paint, the parts, the overall appearance, and how well you put together. Because in my eyes, this is art too.
Yeah.
So you could have all the best, two bikes that have the best of the best parts. But if this dude went the extra route and anodized or powder coated something that shouldn't have been, or painted over something that shouldn't have been, that's kind of what sets them apart. And Taylor and you, I see that in your guys' show where it's judged on the bike itself, not a stock bike with a flashy paint job, which is what I like. And I think back to your show thing, I think that's the ultimate goal.
Hey, don't worry, you're gonna have your own segment too, bro.
I think the goal is, you pop something off. Say your first West Coast Classic is probably just all your guys' friends that know you guys, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how it starts.
Yep.
The goal is to have people going there that have no clue who the fuck you are, right? That means you made it. When the show got that big to where people that aren't friends know of the show.
Right.
I think that's dope for you guys, because I hear people talk about it that have no clue who you guys are. And it's cool to see that you guys brought it something that big, the word it's stretching past your friends base.
Yeah. No, I think that's
cool to watch.
It's pretty cool because, you can do, bike nights and like a little, events, but the goal was never to have like something so big, but now we have like major hitters that want the show to happen at their location. So it's like, it's cooking, second year, this will be, the third show that we'll do. So, just we want to keep it getting better and better, which costs money, but in order to really like succeed, you got to have a big backing, with some money.
You got to pay to play.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what's cool about most of the sponsors that, that we mess with. Like, they understand that, Law Tigers is like the titled sponsor, has been a titled sponsor for the last 2 years, and they get it. You know what I mean? You got to pay to play.
Yeah.
So,
and dude, all this shit, like I said, with all that traveling I did last year, I don't got it like that, dog. So I'm stressing, going to every rally, running up a credit card for fuel and this and that. But it comes back tenfold.
Right.
Still waiting on it too, but
it's coming.
But it has, and just like the stress for figuring out how to get, like, almost canceling shows because you can't figure out how to afford to get there, where to fucking stay. Thinking you're gonna sleep in your truck, stressing about that, and then the week coming back trying to play catch up on money, and then fast forward a year, how much growth has come for how many relationships you've met, where it makes you forget all about the struggles, and it's just constantly rinse and repeat at a higher level.
Right.
But it's just fucking gambling.
Totally. Well, fuck, let's cut it off. People are already starting to play some music, and they're gonna start working here. But this was a perfect little fucking segment, man, to like get to know you a little bit better. And I'm just super stoked to be a part of your life. I was telling some of our friends that we have. I'm like, man, if I lived in Arizona, like Dominic would be my dude. You know what I mean? Like, you're very humble. You stand on business.
I appreciate it.
No bullshit, and like. Your wife, I can see how much you love her, your family. It's like, you're so humble, bro. Like, I mean, like I said, you're no bullshit. You know what I mean? And like, that's the kind of people that I want to be around,
It's a lost trait.
It really is. You know what I mean? It really is. We had some great conversations yesterday about that really, set a tone with me too. It's just like people talking out the side of their neck. It's like, shit or get off the pot. You know what I mean? Like, you have that same mindset to where it's like, and how old are you?
32.
32. Like, you're gonna be one of the guys that people are gonna look look at and want to resemble because you're fucking a solid person. So
I appreciate it, dude. I'm glad we got to meet.
hell yeah, dude, for sure.
Hell yeah.
I remember when I first met you, like it was brief. It was last year at this. So I had a friend that you helped build his bike or whatever, and then he was in your booth. But then we met in Sturgis and shit, and I was just like, yeah, dude, like we connected right away, and I'm like, I made it a point to like get the fuck back down here and like be part of what you got going on, you know, and just watching you grow your success is like so fucking sick, and like you deserve, and like you did this yourself, you know, and that's the hard part, you know, like nothing was free. You know what I mean? And now, because another thing too, it's like there's so many motorcycle shops here in Arizona, man, and like to have you in the level where you're at and people know who you are because of the person that you are, that's the reason. You know, nobody else can do this.
And it's
Not
hard out
everybody
here.
else can do this.
There's so many shops you can't fuck up.
No.
Because they're just going to go to the next one, you know?
Yeah.
They got options out here.
Totally. And people talk. Right?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, Doc, I appreciate you.
I
This
appreciate
is
you.
Fucking sick. You guys give him a follow. Relentless Cycles. And just stay tuned. We'll be back.
Thanks, doggy.
Yeah.